Welcome to Nightmares Before Bed, a supernatural podcast where each show will explore dark and mysterious places, eerie creatures, and all things spooky and creepy. And speaking of spooky and creepy, please help me welcome your hosts Jonathan Rosen and Troy Cannon.
Hello and welcome to another edition of Nightmares Before Bed. I'm Jonathan Rosen, along with Troy Cannon, and today we are going to be talking about, it says, the most haunted hotel in the country. And I think we've read several things that say that, so I'm not sure. But we're doing the Crescent Hotel in Eureka Springs, Arkansas. Now, have you heard about this hotel before?
Never.
I haven't either. I never heard of it, and they say it's the most haunted. I mean, looking through it, there are a ton of ghosts associated with this one. It's possible more than anything that we've discovered that we've done before. But I thought the Stanley Hotel was, and I thought the Clown Motel, maybe it's a motel-hotel difference, was listed as that. Maybe I'm wrong in that, but there are a ton of ghosts listed at this place. And it has this weird history. You know, it was built first as a hotel, then it was like a dormitory for college women, and then it gets creepy. Okay, then it gets really creepy. So I don't know what you've read or not, too, but it was bought by like an entrepreneur. What's his name? Joe Baker? Is that his name? It was Baker. I forgot what his first name is. So it was Norman Baker, and who's like an entrepreneur. He owned a radio. He was a doctor. He owned a radio station, and he built a radio station there in the town too. And he used it like he was a charlatan. He used it as like supposedly they were like healing waters. And we're going to go back again in a few minutes too. We'll talk about that aspect of it. But he used it as a cancer cure hotel, and none of the stuff worked. And there are so many people that died on the premises, many of which are supposed to haunt the place. And did you read the part that a couple of years ago they dug up and they found all these like human remains of things from the time that it was used as this hotel? So let me just get your thoughts quick before we go further, before I go rambling on more. But I didn't know about this hotel. I just read about it like in passing, said, "Oh, we should do that." And then this thing's creepy. So, what are your thoughts?
In 1879, Clayton Powell, who surprisingly is not related to Colin Powell, moved out there, and he said, it was just similar to the Stanley Hotel. Somebody moved out, thought it would be a good place to do a thing, and built a hotel there. Right. So his thing was, I'm going to build a hotel here and make a railroad for customers. I think it was mining. Can't remember what it was mining. It was a mining town, and it grew really, really big. Right. Mm-hmm. So he made this hotel, and he had it overlooking the springs. The problem with that is he put the hotel on a bed of limestone, which is supposed to be a conduit for supernatural forces. You know, he might as well have picked a children's graveyard or an Indian burial cemetery.
Oh, wait. Stop 1 second. Hold up. Okay. Just like every other week, you just hit the thing on the head. What have we talked about every single episode almost? Who talked about this? Who talked about this area having healing waters? That they lauded the healing qualities of the place. Our friends, the Native Americans. There's not one episode that we've done that doesn't have something to do with this as well. But go ahead, I'm sorry. So,
even the ones with stuff in space, the Native alien natives are like, yeah, those are the star people.
Oh, yeah, we know about that stuff. Yes.
Yeah, that's of course we know them. So he did this thing. And it was overlooking Eureka Springs, and he built it. He spent a fortune. He spent $294,000, which today which today would have been $9,274,000. Spent $9.25 million on this place. So for one, he was super rich. So he gets it. When they're building the place, one of the masons slips and falls through the roof, through a floor, and into one of the rooms that is eventually going to be named Room 218. I'm not sure that they knew that guy's name, but
this is before the hotel's even built. Before they even built, he got a death. He got a death already.
Yeah, there's deaths. You know, they haven't even got a customer in yet, and there's ghosts. Ghosts were there before the customers. So 218 becomes the trademark haunted location in the hotel. There's several locations. I think 240 was another one where one of the doctors, eventually one of the doctors who liked to smoke cigars. I think they were grape flavored or something. They were fruit flavored cigars. And sometimes when you're walking around in that area, you can smell it. And people, that's where the term "the doctor is in" comes from, because people would say, "I smell that doctor. He's here. He's in. The doctor's in." So the eventual purchaser, the primary purchaser of the place, like you said, he was a con man. He was a shyster. He had a radio station. He was a vaudeville comedian or magician. He did a bunch of jobs. He was a salesman. I was a salesman, so I can tell you, salesman. You know, you've got to go to the school of exaggeration in order to be a good salesman.
This is the best thing ever.
Like Joey Zuzu, you know, your house will catch fire unless you buy this car. So he was a great salesman, and he wanted to be rich and famous. So he's got this hotel, and he comes up with a cure. He doesn't come up with it. He actually stole it from another con man.
Right. I saw the con man stole it from someone else.
He's stealing stuff. And he decides that he's going to have this place be the quote unquote Switzerland of America, where they're going to have cures for cancer and several other things, but primarily it was a cure for cancer. He would give injections to his patients, or have his quote unquote doctors give injections to his patients. 7 injections in the gut a day.
Yeah.
That had to have been terrible. Mm-hmm. But seven, and people that were rich were paying buckets of money to get this. And it was fake. And he did this, and he would flaunt his wealth around town. He liked the color lavender. So he had a lavender colored car, which back then must have been, you know, just insane to see that. But he had a lavender colored car, and he had several lavender colored suits, and he would flaunt around town and, you know, light his cigarettes with $100 bill. He to me, that taunted the spirits, and it made it a bigger thing, because they're like, not only did I die, but this halfwit is bragging about, you know, the situation that killed me.
Right.
So that's the guy. That's the main takeaway that I got from the guy. He was a shyster. He was a grifter, and he
charlatan. Yeah, absolutely. There's so many. You said the room 218. I think there are a couple of. 218 is the big one. But I think there are a couple on that floor. Several of the deaths seem to have occurred like on the 4th floor there too. But there were so many, because so many people died, and they just kept, you know, burying the bodies or getting rid of the evidence. Now, here's the thing. I don't know if you saw this part. They turned one of the morgues where they had, like, you know, the operating table, or the table that where they did the autopsies on, whatever. They made that into like a bar area later on. So the place that they're performing autopsies on human bodies, people are later on just drinking and having a good time in that area, the area of death and suffering. It's just unbelievable when I read these stories here. And some of the ghosts, like you see, there's a kid, right? The worker died shortly after a kid died, and you still hear like the bouncing balls and you always hear that. That's creepy. And like we've said before, ghosts are creepy enough. Little kid ghosts are the creepiest things of all. When you hear the laughter or the tears, yeah. So the little laughter of the kid running through the halls with chasing the ball. There's a woman, I don't know, it was suicide or she got put or whatever, jump. That you hear her screaming. At times, you hear the scream falling down. At times, people have felt things in that room in 218. They've seen things move on their own. They've felt presence. They've heard whispers in that room. And again, we think we talked about it in another video as well. They wake up at night and see, and it might even be Dr. Baker they were talking about, like staring at them at the foot of the bed, just staring at them. So that would creep me the hell out. I don't think I've read. Have you read any of them? I don't think that any of them have been like malevolent, that they've been like evil doing things to people. I don't think I've read across anything like that. But their presence is there. I mean, have you read anything about them being like evil or anything? Any of them?
I haven't read anything evil per se, but what I would say to that is, when we do the research, I look stuff up, and then I go to other YouTubers who have actually been to these locations.
We got to go to this place, by the way. We got to go to this place one time.
We got to go.
Yes,
we got to. There's a woman that does stuff in Arkansas, and she went to the hotel, and she said that mediums have been there. There's been dozens and dozens of mediums that have gone to the place, and almost all of them have said the place is building energy. It's building energy. Could be because of the limestone, but it's generating. So they'll go Monday, and it's 1. And they go Tuesday, it's 1.002. And they go Thursday, and it's 1.005. The energy is slowly building. So I took that to mean that the spirits haven't generated enough power to do evil things. People have felt people get touched. People have said that there's been hands grabbing their arm, and they turn around and there's nobody there. The cat, Morris.
The cat. We right. We didn't discuss the cat.
Yeah, that cat.
Morris.
Was the cat.
Right.
Showed up, and for 27 years lived in the building, which is, he must have came there like right after he was born, because that's a long time.
That's a damn long time for a cat. Right. Yeah.
It's a long time. So
and the cat was the general manager of the hotel.
They said he's the GM.
Right.
So he's in there, and he dies. They bury him on property. Then people complain. People who don't even know the story of the cat complain about the meowing and the cat running up and down the aisle in the hallways. People have gone to them and complained and said, you got to do something about that cat. And they said that's one of their main things. They get the ghost stories, they get the shadowy dark figures and all that kind of stuff. But the main thing that they get is they get calls saying, you got to do something about that cat. And they're like, that cat's dead, man. That cat's been gone forever. There's nothing we can do without a Ouija board. So that's a big thing. And I think the cat's presence, I think Michael's presence, I think the woman that shows up, that cleans up after you're gone. I think all of these ghosts, because there's multiple ghosts, the dancing ghosts.
Yeah,
there's
dancing ones, right?
There's so many things there, and these mediums are saying, you know what? This place it's growing in its psychic power. And that takes me back. Everything reminds me of a movie. That takes me back to seeing Jeff Goldblum walking into the building and telling everybody, has nobody been paying attention to this? And he holds up his thing and he's pushing the buttons. And what's wrong with the signal? And they're like, David, haven't you seen it? Look. And he sees it, and then he checks out his signal, and he realizes his signal is going boop. And it's getting bigger. So he goes to the White House and he tells them, it's like it's a signal going around the world. And when it hits a certain point, boom.
Right.
That's what I see when I think about this. They're saying, the energy there was here. Next time we checked, it was just a little bit bigger. Next time we checked, it was just a little bit bigger. So I'm thinking it's Ghostbusters.
Ghostbusters, right. I was just thinking that when you say that.
Throw a dart at any Ghostbusters movie, right, and there's a problem with ghosts a moment.
Well, there's too many ghosts in the thing that the line, the line keeps going up and the energy is too packed in. Right. But here's the thing now, usually you associate like the malevolent ghosts with a place of suffering where people suffered. Like, prisons, we see like the evil ghosts or whatever. People did suffer here. People were, so that's why it's shocking to me that I didn't really meet. And maybe it's like you're saying that, it has to get to a certain point that it's building. But people suffered in this place. There was a lot of pain and suffering here. A lot of bad things happened to people. And it's not just that. There are so many of them. This is, a lot of times that we've done this, there are like a couple of ghosts. There are like 2-3 ghosts. Here, there are a ton. There's so many that have been listed that they're more. We haven't even covered like all the things that they said. You have the nurse going around. No one knows who she is either. The nurse going around, and no one knows who that nurse is exactly. Right, the worker, the little kid running around, the dancing things. But there were so many patients that were operated on and given treatments that died. And Baker himself also, Dr. Baker is supposedly one of the ghosts on the thing here. There are so many. I'm trying to remember the movie where all the ghosts came back, all the kid ghosts came back to get the tormentor in the house. I don't know what movie there was. Oh, it's on the tip of my tongue, but I can't remember. She'll look it up beforehand. But this is what it reminds me of. All the ghosts there, I'm thinking, are going to come back for Baker at one point. It has to be. And he's supposedly there. I don't know what they're waiting for, unless they're just enjoying these healing waters. But going back to right, we talked about the natives before. The waters, people have been saying that the waters did healing treatments for years before any of the settlers got there. But all the natives were talking about that they had healing powers. And then the guy in 1852 came in and cured his eye or whatever it was. So, this is a place, and you just talked about it before, like a supernatural place, a place of mysticism that was known way before someone built a hotel in this area. So there's something in this area in the grounds as well.
It's got to be. And like even now, the current owners were Marty and Elise Resnick. Mm-hmm. Marty and Elise Resnick eventually bought the place, and they were going to do a 10-year renovation, and miraculously it was done in 5. Mm-hmm. If they say it's going to take 10 years, it should take 8 or 12. It should be close to that, not half the time, because you're a contractor. You go there.
You're giving your best estimate, right? Yeah.
Yeah, you give them an estimate, but you're not going to say, well, this will take a week, but I better shave some time off because I don't want to really feed my family this week. They usually jack the price up.
Right, exactly. I was saying no worker is going to do it less time because if I know I can get paid for 10 years, why am I going to finish it in 5 years? I'm going to keep getting paid.
That's right. So, the fact that it was done half the time makes me think that those workers just wanted to get out of there, man. Something's going on. They left. As soon as it was completed, Marty died. I couldn't find out why, right, but Marty died, and Elise said that he wanted it run as a hotel and this and that, and they were going to do it together, yada, yada, yada. So she is still there solo running the place today.
Well, Marty might be one of the ghosts now for all. Yeah, so.
He's probably one of the ghosts. When you said that, that's what made me think about it. I was like, you know what? Marty's probably in there too, hanging out, touching people's feet and stuff. Standing at the, let me tell you, you never want to wake up in the middle of the night and see somebody standing at the edge of your bed. I've seen that.
Oh, you've done. That's what I was about to say. You've done it all the time.
All the time. My son saw it. My son climbed into bed with me and was shivering under the covers, and it woke me. So I was like, "What are you doing?" And he's like, I'm scared." I was like, "Of what?" And he's like, there's people at the end of the bed." I was like, "What are you talking about?" And he's like, "I wanted to wake you up, but I was scared of the people." So I sat up, and I could swear when I sat up, I just for an instant, I saw a glimpse of something. And then I was like, what happened? And he said that he came in the room and there were three people standing over the bed looking at me. So he just dived into the bed and hid under the covers. He figured I can't run because then I'll be out in the hallway with the three. They'll come get me. I'll be in the hallway.
Well, as we know, if you're under the blanket, that protects you from ghosts. As we all know that as kids.
You hide under the blanket. Don't go into the bed, though.
Right.
They're under the bed.
Right.
So I've seen it before. My son has seen it. So you never want to wake up like that. So these people are waking up in the hotel. And this is what gets me. If you get the hotel for 3 days and Monday, your first day there, you wake up and see somebody standing at the end of your bed.
Why are you staying 2 more days?
Going under. Yeah, why are you staying 2 more nights? This is why this place keeps getting sold, because nobody is in the full time. They see a ghost and they're like, "I'm out." And then they leave and there's nobody there. So I couldn't stay there. And knowing what I know, I could stay at another hotel and then come to that home, check it out. Yeah, visit during the daytime and stuff, see if I see some stuff, set up some cameras and everything, and then leave before it gets dark. Because a movie trope is people stay too long. They always stay too long and something happens.
I got to ask you then, okay. Now, you've had these experiences. We've talked about it on other episodes before. You've had these experiences in your home, in your own home. You had these experiences when you see someone standing in the bed. So what's the difference then if you're going to go to a hotel then? Why couldn't you stay at the hotel if you're already... Your thing is not located to your home. Your stuff is centric to you. So they follow you. So it doesn't, and we've talked about those experiences. So if they follow you, what difference does it make how many nights you stay? Because you're going to get it anyway.
When I was in Hawaii, I had told my wife about it a long time ago. But when we were in Hawaii, she experienced it. She saw somebody in the hallway, standing in the hallway.
Yeah.
In the hallway twice and in the kitchen once. She saw a person standing there.
How the hell did she stay with you all these years?
She told me, she's like, "If I don't think about it, it's just on you. I'm not going to think about it. So it comes into my head. It's all you." When I was a little kid in Jersey, I would see, shadow people all of the time. When I was a little kid staying at cousins' houses. So I believe that they gravitate towards me. If I go someplace like that place where people have been murdered and they're just trying to build up enough energy to do something wacky, and I show up and I'm a spiritual battery that's...
You don't want to be the conduit.
Yeah, I don't want those guys coming after me. Now, I wouldn't mind, like, I don't know, the ghost of Marilyn Monroe or something like that. But, people who have been slaughtered and tortured and want revenge, nah.
I get all that. But, to me, if they follow you around, there's been no reports of malevolence in these ghosts. But this is a creepy place. I don't know if I could stay there. And I told you, I've gone to haunted hotels hoping to see ghosts. I would go to a haunted hotel. However, I don't know if I would stay in the room. I don't know if I could stay in room 218. Maybe I'd stay in room 222, 2 over. Maybe not even next door. I don't want to be next door even because I just don't want the ghost coming through the wall by accident. But, a few down the hall maybe. I would go to a haunted hotel. And I told you, I've stayed in a haunted hotel, 3 times probably, 2-3 times in my life. And I haven't seen anything, but I never stayed in a room that was supposedly haunted. I don't know if I could do that. I don't know if I could go to sleep knowing that there's supposed to be a presence in that room with me. So I might go, but I couldn't stay in room 218. I couldn't stay in one of the other rooms there. I couldn't go in the Stanley Hotel and stay in that room at 237. I would never have done that either. So I can't do that. I would definitely, I might can stay in the hotel, I don't know, but not in that room. I couldn't do it. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't concentrate on anything else. It would freak me out too much.
In my mind, when I show up, they're going to feel it. I'm catnip. And then when I get there, they're going to be just standing in the room like a old Bond villain wrenching their
sacrifices here.
waiting for me to turn the lights out. The ones across the hallway, down the street, stuck in the limestone. They're all just, the ghost of a T-Rex will probably show up. I don't know, man. The thought is interesting to me. It's intriguing.
Yeah.
So I've gone to different places, like the Stanley. Went to the Stanley and everything. Once I found out how close it was like 2 or 3 hours away.
Yeah.
So I went to the Stanley and stuff like that. So I'm intrigued by that. But it's like a skydiver. You jump out of a plane, you've got a parachute. You also know that there's a chance that you're going to hit that ground at 200 miles an hour and be splattered 50 feet in every direction. You're aware of the danger.
You've been skydiving?
No, well, and I jumped out of a plane in the Marine Corps, but not skydiving. Just we just parachuted out. But and even that, the guy was telling us, there's never a good reason to jump out of a perfectly good airplane. And then he pushed us. So
there's zero way I'm doing that. Zero. I know people who've done it. There's zero way that I'm doing that. Zero. So
it's a rush because you could die. But I did it at one time because I had no choice. I will never do that again. That is not a thing. It's like going on a safari and people are sitting with no doors and everything, and the lions like come up to them and they're like in the thing, and you got a big lion's face, and you're on safari and you just got to kind of stand there, and then some woman in front of you is like, "Smile, I'm going to take a picture of you too." I'm like, I see that all the time. I never know why the lions don't eat the people, because they can get to them. But people do that because they want that adrenaline rush. They want to be next to nature. I know there's a danger, and I just, like that building, I feel there's a danger. I would check it out during the day. About 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, it's time to go someplace else. I take off.
I'm with you during the day. I don't know if I can go to these places at night there too. But again, we're talking about it. It's because I haven't read anything about malevolent ghosts here. I have not read anything about ghosts being evil or wanting to do harm to people. That's not the case of all those hotels. I don't know if I could go to a hotel, even like the Clown Hotel. We haven't done that episode yet. We will, but one day. The Clown Hotel, I've read there's so many, it's filled with malevolent ghosts. I don't know if I could stay there. I really don't. That would be in my mind all night long, totally, that these ghosts are evil and want to do me harm, and I couldn't stay there. If I read, and plus all the haunted hotels I've been to, all the things said that they were friendly ghosts. So, okay, I'm friendly. If I see this friendly ghost there too, like, hey, what's up? Just give him a little nod, a little wave. Hey, carry on. Go haunt someone. I'm fine here. Cool. But if I know that at night that I'm going to go to sleep and this ghost wants to come to my room and strangle me or put a pillow over my head and smother me, I'm not staying there. There's no way I'm staying. Even if it's down the hall, I'm not staying there because, again, I don't want mistakes made by the ghost. I don't know what kind of ghost think or whatever. Like, I have to be confined to 218. I don't want to be the one night that the ghost thinks, hey, why am I stuck in this one room? I can go anywhere I want. I'm not staying there. So if I read that the ghosts are all nice, I would stay at a hotel. Not in the room, but I would stay at a hotel. I couldn't do it with like an evil ghost entity.
I'm thinking if you see a ghost, what do you say to it? I keep thinking about not Dan Aykroyd. What's the guy? Bill Murray. When he sees the ghost, and he's like, "So where are you from?" And he thinks about it like originally, because he knows where they just came from. So he's like, "Where are you from? What do you say to a ghost?" I couldn't say anything but bye.
I would love that. Okay. I don't want to be alone, actually, too. I don't want to be alone either. I would want to be with someone too, because it's safety in numbers type thing. And again, I would love to go to these places with you, I think, because you are a magnet, so I don't know if it really, I'm not sure. But if there's a conduit to good ghosts, would probably be it. And we could maybe talk to some of these others. But then, that's the plus and minus with you is that, you could be a magnet for the evil ghost too. So that's the thing. So I don't know. But this was a creepy place. This was really a creepy thing. I have to say this is one of the creepy. I'm not talking about evil ghost type thing, but this is one of the creepier aspects of things that we've done so far, I think.
Yeah, the fact that guy, and like the bottles that you mentioned, the fact that he had, because they said, I saw like the news thing
Right.
where they say it had human remains in there, and I'm like, why would you put that in a bottle?
Right.
I mean, you're supposed to be curing cancer. You're giving injections to the stomach, so you're pushing stuff into people. And then at some time, he was just like, let's take some stuff out.
Well, they hid all that stuff. They hid it for years until it was discovered 5 years ago.
Oh! I didn't even realize it was that recent. I saw it. I came across it, and I watched the video, but I didn't realize it was that recent. That's crazy.
2019, I think it was when they was talking about that.
That is nuts. And see, that just adds to it, because they say that they know about 40 plus people that died there.
Right.
That's what they know about. There could have been people that they buried, people who left and died at home.
Mm-hmm.
There could be more than 100 people, and the ghosts are residual. If he got that crap and technically died there, but went home and then passed away, that ghost is probably still in that building. So all of the ghosts that died in the building are in the building. All of the ghosts that died because of that building are probably in the building.
Well, look, any place that has their own autopsy table, it's there's something creepy going on there. How many places have an autopsy table in their basement, and then later turn it into like a place to gather and socialize, to have drinks? I'm hanging with the places that they cut people open. I'm having a drink. It's mind-boggling to me.
Yeah. I would like to know what happens when it reaches its apex of energy, when it finally gets to where it's trying to get to.
So would you go to this place?
During the day. I would go in between the hours of 9 a.m. and depending on what time the sun is, Arkansas, maybe 5 or 6, depending on what time the sun goes down, to right before the sun goes down. This would be a dusk till dawn, the reverse of dusk till dawn, kind of a place for me, from dawn till dusk. I'd go there. It's one of the kind of places I wouldn't want to bring my family. It's one of the many places that I would travel by myself. Yeah. And I would want to bring people so that maybe I got a chance of them getting somebody besides me. But I wouldn't want to bring my family because they might get them instead of me. So I would travel with like those ghost hunter groups, maybe something like that.
Yeah, Ghost Hunters did an episode on that. They I don't know if you read that. They put something in the basement. They put like a thing moving, like a light. I have to go watch it again. But I was reading about that. They did get something moving in the basement.
That's
whatever.
Nuts.
One of the many. See, I'm with you. I would visit. I would definitely. But we're going to have to start doing. When we are in the same place, we're going to have to go on a couple of road trips together. But I would go. Also, I prefer during the day too. This is the type of place that I'd consider. I'm talking Old Brave before. I'd consider staying there. Not in any of those rooms. I'd consider it, but maybe not this place. This place has a lot of ghosts. The hotels that I stayed to listed like 1 or 2 ghosts. This has possibly 50. So I don't know if I'd stay there. And I've said it before. The only reason that, the best way, even though you're like a conduit, I would go with you. It's like, those zombie movies I told you that, you just have to be faster than the other guy to outrun the zombies. But it's like, if they're going to come to one of us, they're going to come to the conduit, which is you. So maybe I can go scot-free. So you'd be my safety net.
If it were a zombie movie, I'd have meat tied around my neck. They'd be coming for me for sure.
That's exactly it. So bottom line, do we believe in this place? We think something's there?
Yeah. For it's too long. It's a thought even not counting the Native Americans,
Yeah.
just the Clinton guy, the Powell guy, since he went there and started to build the hotel before it was even built, they were happening. So
I'm with you. I like I said, for the most part, I'm willing to give some sort of belief here, and I always try to give the benefit of the doubt. Not every place have we done that. There are too many things here for me to say no, it's not possible that there's something there. There are a lot of creepy things about this place, and just everything leads. And too many people through the years have reported things too. And again, there's been so much suffering, and that's what to me is, goes hand in hand with hauntings. So yeah, I think there's something there, and it is a place that I would like to visit as well. I don't know about staying, but I would like to visit this place. So, well, let us know what you guys think. Let us know if you've been there, seen anything, anything that we missed on this episode. But yeah, this was fun. Again, this has been Nightmares Before Bed. I'm Jonathan Rosen with Troy Cannon, and please like, comment, and subscribe.
Thank you for watching Nightmares Before Bed. And now, it's time to shut the lights, close your eyes, and go to sleep. If you can.